Welcome in, folks, to Talk or Go Home. Nick Wilson, Clint Thompson, David Murphree.
Like, you had to look at me.
I did. I honestly did forget your name. And our guest for today's episode, Mr. Jonathan Britches Hamilton.
Yep, that's right.
A.K.A. Hammy.
Hammy.
And you've been on the show before. This is what, your second time? Third time? Third?
Yeah, about
second?
third
time, yeah, on the show. First time in a while, though.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, we've moved desks, I think.
Yeah, you had
that thing
yeah.
over there. That's still over there.
We watched Smokey and the Bandit.
We did. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I need to watch it again.
Yeah, we need to do a watch along again. When it comes out in theaters again for the 50th anniversary.
What?
We need to go together and watch it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because what you went and watched it instead of watching Dune or something?
Well, Top Gun was out that weekend. Same weekend.
Yeah, you went and watched the 45th anniversary of Smokey.
Yeah, everybody was going to watch Top Gun. I went and watched Smoking Bandit.
Yeah.
You and four other people.
I didn't know it was in
that you knew most of.
Well, I think 9 people was in the
theater,
and I knew personally 5 of them. 5 of the other people.
Yeah. So don't forget, guys, to subscribe to Lens Plus on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you subscribe to Lens Plus on Apple Podcasts, you get all these episodes a week early and all of our bonus episodes. If you subscribe on Spotify, you only get our bonus episodes. Subscribe, support the podcast, share this episode. Click the share icon, send it to your best friends, your enemies, whomever. Just share the episode. Send the link to somebody, please. Like, directly. Like, don't share it on social media. Share it on social media, but it works even better if you send it to them in, like, an email if you're over 50, and if you're under 50, like a text message. I know I just pissed off every member of our audience, but it is what it is. So go ahead. Hopefully you being mad at us will make you share the episode. That's my rant. Or
they just stop listening.
Yeah. So, yeah. We're growing this thing. We topped 10 listeners the other day.
All right.
Yeah.
10 whole listeners.
10 whole.
A whole quarter.
Obviously, I'm being facetious.
I know.
But no, seriously, thank you guys for listening, tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. Share the episode, all that good stuff. Now.
So, look, I want to point out something before we get started.
Yes.
Like, they can't see it because, we don't zoom in here or whatnot. But you have a massive mark on your neck. You want to talk about this mark on your neck?
I feel like you are going to be better prepared to tell it than I am. So you go ahead and tell it.
No. So, Nick is dating a girl. No, I'm sorry.
Date's a strong word.
Yeah, well, a lot of the freshman children's got... What do you call splatter guns?
I just call them Orbeez guns.
I call them Orbeez guns, too.
Yeah, Orbeez. Or splatter guns, whatever you want to call them. But Orbeez, so if you're unfamiliar, I know y'all, are you familiar with an Orbeez?
No.
Is Orbeez singular or plural?
Yes.
Isn't that like the Dippin' Dots?
No.
So, they look like Dippin' Dots, but you put them in water and they blow up, and they suck in the water. Yeah, so like you take an Orbeez and it looks like like a little smaller than a pea, but you put it in water and it soaks up the water and it expands to about the size a little bigger than an airsoft bullet.
Okay,
but a little smaller than a paintball.
You got a mark over here too. Did you get hit over here too?
Okay. Oh yeah. So the freshman boys, most of whom play wide receiver for me,
Yeah, my wife had nothing to do with the fact that everybody ended up with these guns. By the way.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. So, but no, seriously, we've had a good time. I get ambushed at Clint's house one night after Christmas. Like, is it the day after?
Yeah.
It was the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
I get ambushed at Clint's house because all these boys are over there. Mm-hmm. And
all 12 of them.
Yeah.
Seriously,
and
there's
so
12 kids there.
They think, oh, we're going to corner Coach Wilson. We're going to shoot up Coach Wilson. So that specifically one, Huckabee. I can say that because that's not technically his name.
Technically.
He gets so nervous. He gets so nervous because you're not supposed to say kids' names. Anyway.
Maze. Sorry.
Well, that's his kid. But he just starts lighting me up. And I just walk to him. And I just stare him down. And they're like, oh my gosh, he's Iron Man! And they start freaking out. It hurt. Gosh, it hurt.
But you can tell him that.
No, and I never will. Well, fast forward another 2 days, and
we all go out to eat.
And I'm not going to say the location of where this splatterball fight occurred.
No, please don't, because we might get in trouble.
Exactly. But
hey, look, a splatterball.
Yeah.
It's all over Facebook. I've already seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did put it on Facebook.
Well, but I didn't say we did that.
I think people can be I just figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Steak,
What?
baked potato.
Yeah. Sonic?
Yeah.
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 And so, but no, I got ambushed. I was ambushed again. But this time, I didn't have as much protective layering on. So, up this entire
this whole
side of my
side.
body, I have
Looks like you got
whelps,
chicken pox.
like red whelps. I got them. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. You see that right there?
Gee.
They're worse than that on my body. Oh, by the way, my butt. My butt. They're all on my cheeks.
I don't believe you showed me.
Not on camera. But no, they're all over my cheeks and they're all down my like actual back, not just my side. So yeah.
So you got shot in the back.
I did. Yeah. Real
Cowardly.
Cowardly.
Real cowards they are.
Yeller. They're yeller.
But don't worry, I'm gonna get them back. By the time this airs, I will have already gotten them back. So
Anyway,
it's gonna be okay.
it's
But that's where that mark is. That
like I
was
said, you
one
can't
of
see it
the-
probably on the camera. I just at least wanted you
Yeah.
to tell the story.
There's one like here and there's one over here, and then after
Because
you
in like
left-
2 weeks, this whole entire thing will be done with. They won't play with
exactly.
it
Yeah, it's a
anymore.
trend.
Yeah.
They're real trendy.
So, did it hurt?
This is water. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did hurt. But again, I'm not like I let John Lee Bonley shoot me in the hand.
Point
from
blank.
About,
You said that one hurt worse.
that one hurt. That hurt the worst.
Oh.
But I didn't show it.
Well, full disclosure, Kerry actually said for the last episode we recorded for me to walk in and shoot David on camera.
We should have. He would have. But
I wasn't going to do that to you.
yeah. What would your reaction have been?
It's going what kind of mood I was in, I guess. It may have been a fight, or I could have laughed. I don't know.
Just laid out. In the
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There it goes. Talk or go home. That was it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all she wrote. So, Hammy,
Yes.
again, like we stated previously, it's been a while, but we're glad to have you back.
Yeah, why are you here?
Yeah. Tell us why you're here.
Because we ate at the Mexican place first.
That is true.
That's true. Yeah. That's
I'm
why we
so
were late, by
full.
the way. You wouldn't. Hey, don't even. You wouldn't have come.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Would you?
Yeah, I think I would have showed up today.
Was today your cheat day?
I'm just used to not being invited. Just go ahead.
Every
They
time
didn't
we invite
invite
you,
Go ahead.
every time we invite him somewhere, he's like, I gotta go water my cactus.
But I mean,
or something.
that's a given, though. I mean, anybody could have figured. Anybody would have known y'all probably went and ate Mexican first.
Yeah. Especially you.
Anyway.
Especially you, Nick.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you basically.
No
did.
joke. I was actually gonna go. So I didn't see. I was with my grandparents. I spent the morning with my grandparents, and I didn't see any of those text messages y'all sent. And so I get into Asheville and I get cell service again, because going through the valley I have no cell service. So I get into Asheville and I see it, and that's when I responded and said, "Oh, I was on my way
Meet you
there,
there.
regardless. I was gonna go eat lunch by myself before this, by myself." And then I get the text
By
message
yourself?
and
For the third time?
yeah, by myself.
Okay.
But that's when Josh Kale sat down with me, and then y'all text me. I'm like, oh
Man,
here we
I
go.
might have loved to have been invited to that lunch. But that was a good one. I'm
Well-
going to go eat at Pizza Hut and not invite y'all, so that's all right.
Okay, you going to eat the buffet?
Oh, is there a
Yeah.
sit-down Pizza Hut anywhere anymore?
Yeah, I'm going.
Aniana.
Really?
Yeah.
We've had this conversation,
No, we haven't.
All right.
or maybe
Yeah, we
he
have.
and I have had this conversation.
Likely.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like a school conversation. Anyway.
Yeah, that was probably a hallway conversation.
Yeah, probably.
Or an 8th period conversation.
Hey, how you doing?
He always comes and visits me 8th period because it's his planning, and I've got like an amalgamation of different classes in my class.
I think you just made up a word, but keep going.
Amalgamation? Isn't amalgamation a word, Hammy?
Sure.
Says the person that says Kavitz
Sure.
in Chipotle.
Yeah, chipotle.
You know what? Why am I here? I'm going to go home.
Roasted.
Yeah.
But no, so we have a lot of questions for you.
Okay.
That's why you're here. We have some questions about your past.
Oh, wow.
Chris Hansen, you may come in now. Sorry. Sorry. No, that was a joke. So you used to be, what's the proper term?
Animal control officer.
You, at one point in your life, were an animal control officer. First off, tell us what you do now. What's your title now?
I'm officially an engineer, telecommunications engineer.
For a private company,
Yeah.
consulting, not consulting,
Yeah,
but basically.
contracted. We
yeah.
contract to like the big telephone companies and telecom companies and
Like AT&T,
Yeah.
Verizon.
design the fiber lines for internet to residences, businesses, stuff like that.
Singular in Bell South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all on computer, all
All
from
tel?
home. So
Yeah. So you're a remote laptop worker person.
right.
You're one of those remote workers.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's
Absolutely love it.
a good time. Yeah. Yeah. So, but in a previous life, you were an animal control officer
for about 4 years
for our area, for St. Clair County, Alabama, right?
Yep.
David, what kind of questions do you have for the man? Because I know your team has questions.
Animal control, we did it for 4 years. Now, did you do this before you got your degree or after you got your degree?
It was after.
You got your degree first.
I did.
And did you try to get a job in the area that you got a degree in?
Well,
what's your degree?
History.
Okay. Bachelor's of History.
Yeah. So I kind of, went to college with no actual plan.
Okay.
This sounds fun. Let me do it.
It was like, all right, I'm, graduate high school. What do I do now? I guess I go to college. And,
8 years later.
anyone who goes to college, I recommend you know what you're going to do beforehand.
Did you go to Gaston State?
I went for 2 years.
And then Jacksonville?
Mm-hmm.
And got a history degree.
Right.
What do you do with a history degree? What
Not
do you do with it?
much, apparently.
You get a history degree because it's just like getting a psychology degree.
Well, you and I basically have a history degree.
Yeah, but we're in education.
But there's an education part attached to that.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. We know where we're headed with that.
Yeah,
But what do you do with a history degree?
Well, my whole life, I kind of go by the mantra, I'll just wing it. And I was always good at history.
It would work well up to this point.
You know what? I love it when a telecommunications engineer says that's the mantra he lives his life by.
well, look, I mean, I landed on my feet somehow.
Yeah, you did.
So
you do have a really good job.
I thought of going into teaching, and
but then you would have had to gone back
yeah,
with the history degree and gone back and got the education stuff
right.
after that, after you got the history degree. But what were you planning on doing with the history degree?
I kind of wanted to maybe work for a museum or something.
So like actually be like a curator.
And I went out to the one we got here in town.
archives?
Yeah, and there's like, no, we don't have anything open. So okay, well I'll just
Going back home.
I'll see what I can do.
Staying in Asheville.
Just
But gosh, I'm not going anywhere.
just work odds and ends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then
Was there a
just kinda
place in Birmingham? Was there a museum like that in Birmingham? Where would be the next place you would look for a job with a history
I don't
degree?
know. I have no
Museums.
idea. Like
Okay.
I said, I had no plans whatsoever.
So that's when you didn't get a job in that, and so that's when you
Well,
ended up with
there's some others in between there.
Yeah, there were a few, like I said, little odds and ends and stuff. And my brother works for the county, and he said this was open. I was like, okay, I'll go do that. And jumped in feet first, and
Were you the first person to do that job?
no, there have been others before me. There was a guy there that
There's a long legacy.
they're kind of sort of.
Yeah.
But the guy was there before, Josh. He was already working there, and they decided, maybe we need more than one person doing this. Because working with
It's
wild
all of
animals
St.
and-
Clair. It's
Yeah,
the
it's the
north
whole
side
county.
and the
the whole
south side.
county.
There's close to what 100,000 people in this county. Almost?
Yeah, at
probably,
least.
something like
I
that.
think we're like top 5 most populous counties in
Yeah.
the state.
And so they hired me on. They didn't hire me on full time or even part time. It was called casual time.
Wait. That was the official
Mm-hmm.
casual time.
Yeah.
Casual time called dog catcher.
No, animal control officer.
Ah, well,
Back in the day,
back in the day, dog catcher.
but
So I
casual
would
time.
work whenever he needed help
Yeah.
or if he took off.
I just assumed that it was like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons where you just walked around with a net and a box van all the time.
No.
I think you're.
That's kind of what I thought it was going to be when I went in.
This is gonna be great.
Because I don't even remember there being an animal control officer until you did it. I remember you doing the job, and I don't even remember anybody doing
I'm
that.
trying to think who did it. Josh. I can say names, right?
Well,
Josh
if,
White.
If they're okay
Yeah.
with it, yeah.
He still
Well,
does it.
Yeah, well, I knew he did it.
He's
He been doing it a long time too.
yeah.
He's had that job a while.
Tim.
Meadows.
No.
Hudson,
Brown.
Tim Brown.
Did it before
Seems
him.
like I remember that.
So
I'm doing that.
Wide receiver for the Raiders.
So if you ever listen to the scanner,
Mm-hmm.
Josh is AC1, I was AC2.
Okay, gotcha.
Now since I've left, I don't think they've hired anyone to replace me. So I was the one and only AC2.
Yeah. AC standing for animal control.
Right.
AC1, AC2. No way. Okay, so I gotta know, and you and I have already talked about this, but just for the audience's sake, because I know somebody out there listening probably has this same question. Are you technically law enforcement as an animal control officer?
No.
But do you have lights on your vehicle?
Amber lights.
Not blue lights.
No.
Amber lights.
Yeah.
So, but if you're...
And I'm not sure that those are supposed to be on there, but, we had them.
Well, they have them on, like, tow trucks and stuff, so you should
true.
be fine.
So, but you're a county employee.
Mm-hmm.
On your way, like, if there's, like, an emergency over the radio. AC1, we need you at such and such location on the, AC2, AC1. We're catching heavy fire from a pack of anthropomorphic dogs. They've got submachine guns and they've got cigars sticking out of their mouths and they're talking about a drug deal or something. Come
playing
help,
poker.
Will you flip playing poker?
Dogs playing poker, yeah.
Yeah, we just busted out a illegal poker ring.
Them at that point.
Yeah.
Do you flip the lights on and go, or do you just like slowly drive? Like, I'll get there when I get there.
Well, there was never any like huge emergency. Well,
there was one.
Yeah, I maybe turned the lights on once.
Just to say you did it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And drove.
I really need a Mountain Dew.
No, it was a bear sighting.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know what I would have done when I got there. But
Now, they don't give you any kind of arms or anything.
No.
Okay.
So you don't have a weapon.
No, nothing to defend myself. Just a metal pole. And
like you don't even have. Wait, hold on. When you say metal pole, what kind of pole are we talking about?
It's like the pole with the little.
Oh, the loop pole.
No, I had one of those batons. You see those batons that extend out? Yeah, I had one of those. I never used it.
Like you see, like when there's riots in Europe and all those riot police in Europe because they can't use tasers or actual weapons in Europe because they're all communists, but they use those batons or whatever. That's what they flick it out and it it's a telescopic thing.
You had one of those. Are hard as heck to get back in.
Yeah. How do you know?
I just know.
He almost said June Jam. I just know.
June Jam?
You can hit one up against the concrete wall and can't get it to go back in.
June Jam. All right.
Those Alabama concerts go hard.
So you had one of those?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had at least some sort of melee attack weapon.
Yeah, but that's not going to do much. The only time I never used it on an animal, but I got out of a truck one time and this dog, made it known he didn't want me to get out of the truck, and I just popped it out, and he saw I meant business, and he backed off.
So you need to break out the pledge.
That's
So can you tell us about that?
Well, I just ride. That's the only thing I could find in the house to protect myself from dogs when I was riding my bike around the community. If one come out at me was
pledge.
That's all I could find.
He brought
spray.
Lemony.
That'll work.
Lemony furniture spray.
You're better protected than I was.
Pledge.
So no trank gun, no taser.
No, we had a tranquilizer gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you trained how to use it, or were you just said here?
No, I was. I'd go through 16 hours of training from some guy.
Is it some guy? Is it like the taser stuff where they say, well, you can use it, but you have to have it done to you before you can use it?
No.
That would be funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Hey, Mom. I'm gonna be out for 24 hours, so don't worry about it. I'm not gonna be coming home anytime soon.
I'll tell you this: if you shoot something with a tranquilizer gun, they don't go right down.
No.
It's about 5 minutes of them running and hiding under a house. So then you have to crawl up under there and drag them out.
You said shoot someone
or
something.
Okay.
So you've shot
that.
Yeah. So you've done that before. You were put in a situation where you were forced to use the tranquilizer.
He was informed.
Yeah, I never did fire it, but Josh did.
Oh,
he was informed. Okay. So it hurts enough that it scares them to go run away, but then when they pass out, you still got to go retrieve.
Right.
Gotcha.
And it's actually you've got to mix up the tranquilizer on the spot. And you've got to guess their weight.
Oh, okay.
And everything.
Well, that poodle looks like it's 300 pounds.
If it's a poodle. That's true.
This is the size of an elephant.
So you had what's with the trailer, by the way? Because every time I see Josh, he's always pulling a trailer.
That was something he added after I left.
Okay.
Because I didn't like to pull a trailer at all because I'm horrible at backing them up.
Well, it's got that. Does that
have kennels on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the big dog box, and then we got the traps attached to it. and everything.
There were traps?
Yeah.
Were you trap trained?
I mean, there's not much training. You put the bait and set it.
Hey, now that bear, when you got that call about the bear, were you planning on shooting it with the tranquilizer gun?
I was going to take pictures of it with my phone. That's all I was going to do.
Did you have the tranquilizer gun with you then? When you got the call about the bear? So
I don't know if we had enough to knock it out.
Okay.
It actually wasn't too far from your house.
Wow.
I remember when somebody called about a bear right close to my house, but I think that was my dogs, though. I don't think there was a bear there. I think that was my dog. Somebody just saw my dogs down in the woods at that time.
When I got there, deputy was already out there, and he was wide-eyed. He actually saw it. So it was a bear, big black bear.
How often would you work with law enforcement?
Quite often, actually.
Basically every call, pretty much.
Well, I mean, if it was a standard call, but they would call me out to certain things, or sometimes I would need them.
What's the craziest story that you can tell us that's not going to get anybody in trouble?
I mean, crazy as in funny, or
yes, both.
Okay, let's do funny, and then let's do like crazy as in like crazy, like wow.
Okay.
Now,
let's preface this with, if it's been a news story, you can tell it.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's public knowledge.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do too, and I can't wait for you to tell this.
I will say one time, it was actually on Christmas Eve. I was at your house.
You were,
and I got called out to.
You were mad.
This neighbor. Oh, I was very mad. But this dog, the stray dog, come up and bit someone, and so they needed to catch that and have it checked for rabies. Because there were a lot of police there, but they weren't going to shoot it because they didn't want to damage it to test it for rabies on that.
Damage as in kill it.
Right.
Wow. Dart.
So anyway, I got there, and the dog was pretty vicious, and it was around behind the house. There's like 3 or 4 cops. They're like, "Hey, you need a hand?" I was like, "Yeah, sure," and they just start clapping. I was like, "Oh man,
I love cops."
Yeah.
Golly.
So I went back there, and it was just me and the dog, and I had the pole. It's like this long pole with a loop on the end. It's a cable. And you've got to catch it, and you've got to pull the string to tighten it, to secure it. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get this thing. Because if it takes off certain way, I mean, I'm not going to lunge and catch it. But this one time I'm not going to
try.
It actually bolted, and I just happened to get it at the right time. So I caught it and took it off.
Was this a big dog?
I was about to say, what's the breed?
Oh, it was a.
Please say pit bull. Please say.
No, it was a boxer.
It's a real hyper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Was that one thing you had to learn? Was like breeds? So I didn't mean to interrupt your story, but.
I just learned them on the fly because we had to fill out paperwork and describe the breed. A lot of it I learned by going to the shelter when I would take the animals there and learn. I volunteered there a time or two.
My two favorite breeds of dog, because we used to go get ours rabies shots and everything. It was always K9 and Heinz 57.
How you said shelter, volunteering at the shelter, was the one over on Prison Road? Was that where it was?
No, it was down in Pell City.
Pell City, okay.
Close to
by
the
airport.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still there or not.
The Pell City one is. Okay. And the one on Prison Road, I think they shut it down.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was down there.
So
I went down there several times a day.
You get this boxer with the loop pole. Is that the official term? Loop pole?
That'll work.
So you didn't have an official term? You just
catch
loop
stick.
Pole. Catch stick, okay. So you get this boxer with this catch stick somehow.
Yeah.
Cranking a weed eater over here.
It kind of was.
I'm doing the what's that dance move?
I don't know.
The sprinkler?
The sprinkler.
Yeah.
No, they got one.
Shopping cart. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, take it down to a vet, and they do what they need to check it for rabies.
Was it foaming at the mouth?
It wasn't.
Okay.
It didn't have it.
Oh, okay.
I did learn that. I don't know what they did with the dog. I mean, I can guess, but
So once you take it to the vet or the shelter, you're done.
Right.
Your job's done.
Yep. So I'm free of that one. So that was I don't know. I mean, that was one of about 2 or 3 times I had to deal with a dog that I had to catch because it bit someone and had to have it checked for rabies. Another time I just caught it in the trap and took it off. And that time it was a little kid that got bit.
Yeah.
And so when I came back to get it, the kid was like, "Thank you, mister." I was like,
"Just doing my job, son."
Yeah, I was like, welcome, citizen.
You throw him a jerk. No problem, kid.
Yeah.
So
thanks, kid.
Joe Green.
Yeah. So your shirt.
My Carhartt shirt.
Yeah.
So obviously, animal control means all animals,
Right.
So you've dealt with horses, probably multiple cats,
A whole lot of cats.
raccoons, skunks.
No skunks, thank God.
Yeah.
Raccoons, foxes, possums. Got a call for alligator.
Opossums.
I never caught a gator, but Josh did.
Wow.
A gator?
Snakes.
Snakes, yeah.
Hey, how big was the alligator?
Uh,
Was it good size?
oh man, he had pictures of it.
It's probably a couple feet long.
Yeah, I mean it was big enough that he had to get on the back of it.
Oh wow.
He like Steve Irwin, like crocodile hunted it.
That was another time there were a lot of cops there, and he's like, "Hey, can you give me a hand?" And they started laughing. That was a recurring thing.
Gee, thanks guys, we appreciate it.
But no, he caught it.
So how would that story go? Like he's like, well, I saw the crocodile hunter do it, so let me try. Or was like, is that
Pretty
something you're
much.
trying? Wow.
He just
Was y'all
he got it.
so he just got on his back and then y'all just kind of duct taped his mouth or something? Is that what you did with that?
He took some rope that he had bought at Dollar General and
Not a
tied its
sponsor.
mouth shut, and then waited for the game wardens to get there.
So, off the subject, have you ever seen the short video clip of the old man? I'm talking about old man, like he's senior citizen, thinks he can do something to this gator, and he takes and throws a jacket over the top of it, and then dives on top of it and misses it, and the gator bites his arm. Oh, it's funny. I'd show it to you.
Well, that's morbid.
Yeah.
I've seen the one to bite down on that guy's head. That
Yeah.
time, like when he dropped a sweat or
Oh,
something,
yeah,
hit
yeah.
the gator's
That
mouth,
show.
and he snapped down on it.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't mess with a gator.
See, I've seen one. I saw it, because Florida people are crazy. I saw an older, like Florida guy. This gator, it was a puppy. This guy's puppy was at the corner at the edge of this lake, and this gator came up. Have you seen that
I've
video?
seen that one.
And
He
the guy
jumps
goes in, grabs the gator, and the gator, like you see just this guy walking through the water, and you see he's struggling with something under the water, and then he lifts it up, and it's a small alligator, and in this alligator's mouth is this puppy like whining and crying because it's in the mouth of an alligator. And you just see this guy pry this alligator's mouth open, rescue the puppy, and like chunk this alligator, get rid of this alligator. Like the most manly thing ever. That's awesome.
I think an alligator got my puppy down in Eufaula when I was down there.
Wait. What?
Yeah, I had a puppy down there, and it just disappeared. No trace.
You didn't sound the alarms?
No
and
trace.
call folks,
Well,
or?
it was a dog that was just at the school, a puppy just at the school, so I just took it home to the house, and somehow it got out of the basement of the house, and it just disappeared. I think an alligator got it, because we had a bunch of alligators.
Yeah,
like
in Lake
Eufaula.
Eufaula. And
Yeah.
you were on the river, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or on
On
the
there
lake.
on the water. So it
I went to a farm upstate. What you talking about?
Upstate.
Yeah. I always had to ship it off to a nice pasture.
Is that a Seinfeld episode?
Probably.
Yeah.
No, have you seen the guy that fought a kangaroo that was attacking his dog?
Yes.
He just walked up and punched it. I mean,
Yeah.
squared up and punched it.
Well, kangaroos, when they're and they look like they're boxers.
Yeah,
And
they're
they're
pretty-
yoked.
Yeah.
And they like their arms are like this, and so it looks like they're boxing.
Yeah.
As they sit back on their tail.
Hey, apparently they're vicious too.
They are.
Yeah.
Like a moose. I didn't know how dangerous moose were.
Meese.
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 Meese are dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Mooses.
Mooses.
Those things are like 9 foot tall. Like, have you ever seen them go fall off a
Yeah.
hill or something and hit a car? It's like there's nothing left of the car ever.
Well,
And speaking of alligators, you ever see the one, the Florida guy that caught one in his garbage can? Like he
Yeah, I
got it
saw
up
that.
in the garbage
Yeah.
can. He picked it up and
Yeah.
like wheeled it to the road.
Yeah.
I don't know what he
Resourceful.
did with it. Yeah,
Sanitation department come by. and got
yeah,
it.
and that's their problem.
Imagine that surprise.
Ooh.
that'd be awesome.
It would only be a problem if they
have
had
that
the
guy on
old
the
school,
podcast.
the old school like guy dumping it. That's the only time it'd be a problem
Yeah.
because everything's automated now.
So,
As a take
any like crazy, funny, or just crazy stories in general?
Helped shut down a puppy mill.
Oh,
That was nuts.
PETA thanks you.
Yeah, that was. Well, or they might have been running it too. I mean, that's
So, Like, can you elaborate on that? Well, that was in the news, so you can elaborate on that, right?
Yeah, that was, got a call out there, and
obviously you can't say where it was, right?
Police actually met me out there, and
hey, do you need a hand?
Yeah, no, they were serious this time because you go out back and there's like, I think there were over 100 puppies.
Oh wow,
in cages.
That's terrible.
And just no sanitation. No, they were
like when you
dead
mean
ones mixed in with them.
Just lying there.
Yeah, and so
yeah, they made their own food.
We need to do something.
You're terrible.
I am.
So I called a contact I had in Montgomery who came up, and we went out there with the police, had a warrant and all this and that, and got all the puppies and got them out of there. And it was rough.
So when you came up on that and you were like, I guess, analyzing the situation, where you did the thought ever cross your mind like, man, I'm not getting paid enough to deal with this crap? Because I mean that's pretty intense. That's serious.
I mean, yeah. One thing I was like, I hope I get some help this time on this. But it was sad. They were, they would raise them and sell them, and they were shooting them up with hormones and just all sorts of stuff, and a lot of them were inbred. It was rough.
Had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So when a situation like that happens, and you obviously collect the ones that are left alive, what do y'all do with all those puppies? Just straight to the shelter? Is there like a special process?
Like I said, we got the state involved, and they took them. They have their own.
So the state basically came in and took over.
Right.
Okay.
I can't remember there's so many acronyms with government work. It's like 4 or 5 letters, whatever group that is, but they took care of it.
Any situation where you've come up on something and like you have to call law enforcement to come out, like maybe an irate person's like, why are you here looking at my stuff?
No. I didn't.
But you've heard.
Yeah.
Now
we also had to go into an abandoned house one time because the guy had like 30 or 40 dogs and he was squatting. And
so it wasn't even his house.
Right. And we get there and there's no one around, no animals. Try the door. So, we need to get inside to look. And I can tell you, if you try to kick in a door, it's a lot harder than it looks. Then if you also try to shoulder rush the door, it's a lot harder than it looks. I was unsuccessful both times.
Why'd you get the door open? It's probably unlocked. You could just turn the door off.
There's probably a key underneath the mat.
Yeah.
Neither one of us, I was actually there with Josh, thought, hey, we can just reach to the window and unlock it. Because it's like,
Josh carried a shotgun.
It's like, oh, man, this is going to be cool. I'm going to look awesome. It's like,
ow.
I still walk with a limp.
That hurt.
But, yeah, that was weird. So a few times like that, because you'd have hoarders.
Yeah.
People doing stuff like that. The one situation that Clint referenced, guy had 30-something Rottweilers.
Pit bulls.
No, they were Rottweilers.
Were they? I thought they were pit bulls.
And he had them in back and just each one was in a cage much too small for it. They were full grown. And 2 of them had gotten out and attacked a neighbor and killed him.
Killed a neighbor.
Oh, actually killed the guy?
Yeah. And dragged him back to the yard and started eating him.
So I'm going to act like I don't know this story, so you'll continue telling it, even though I've heard you tell it before. Wow, they ate him? That's terrible.
They ate part
it
of
is
him.
terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Like that's was this guy like a physically capable person, or was he older?
In his 80s.
Yeah. See, that makes it even worse.
Oh yeah, it was bad. So I got there and there were a lot of police there.
Yeah.
They had the tape up. They lifted the tape up. I got to go in.
VIP,
yeah. Leave me alone.
And
we got AC2 on the scene.
I'm supposed to be here.
Right. And that was a moment where I was
10-100.
Yeah, I was like, man, I am in over my head.
Yeah, that was the moment where you were like, man, I'm not getting paid enough.
I really should have planned my college career out there at this moment.
Well, see, we had a bunch of different trucks that we drove because they would break down because we got hand-me-downs from the county.
Dang.
Yeah, we got a lot of hand-me-downs. Had
Yeah.
like 2 Dodges, a Chevy, and a Ford.
Hey, Stephanie,
they're my
this is
common.
AC2. I need you to come get me again.
I did have to get lifts a few times.
Oh, wow.
I need you to call Corbin Central. I need Corbin to come out and tow me back.
Yeah. Shout out to Danny with St. Clair County. He had to give me several rides home. 'Cause the truck
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
So hey, the truck's here. It won't crank. But no, that time I was like a little Chevy, like S10,
What?
and it's
They
like
gave you an S10?
yeah.
Wasn't even a full size pickup.
No.
No, I don't think
Oh,
they've
my.
ever been a
No
full
air
set.
conditioner, middle
No,
of summer.
Josh
Wow.
drives a F-150.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, now.
Now.
It's like
yeah.
a 2015 F-150
But,
with air conditioning.
yeah, not then. Not then it wasn't. So I'm like, I've got to carry 35 Rottweilers, 2 at a time, back and forth from here to the shelter. I'm gonna be here for like 12
And where you
hours.
where you were was like an hour away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Like it's on one side of the county to the other, basically.
however, we learned that was Jefferson County jurisdiction. So,
Success.
well, they came out with their like nice vans. And, like, they had uniforms. It's like, wow.
Wait a minute, you didn't have a uniform?
No.
So what'd you wear to work?
A Carhartt shirt and some tactical pants Josh gave me. But those were cool. Those
What
like
color?
tear-proof.
What color were they?
Brown.
And what color was the shirt?
It's also brown.
Okay.
That was to hide what I was usually covered in. But,
Which was brown.
Which
yeah,
is brown.
rather brown.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they came out and took care of it. But it was on the news. The news came out like as I'm leaving. Cause
Yeah,
it's
please
like,
tell this
okay,
story.
okay, they're like, okay, you're good. You can go. As I'm leaving, I'm talking to I think Josh on the phone. And I happen to look up, and there's like Fox 6 or whatever.
Yeah,
It's on the
some
camera.
local news.
And I'm on the news, and I just duck out of the way behind the car.
So this is because he showed me, like he's walking, he looks, he kind of looks, oh man, that's a reporter. Oh man, that's a camera. I think they're live, and you just kind of see him go, nope. Like you see it, because like the reporter's here, and Hammy's kind of off to the side, he just looks, and he's on his phone, and he goes, nope, and you just see him go on the screen.
Yeah, just right out of view.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
So yeah, that was a bad situation though. But that was, yeah, one of the few times I thought I was in over my head.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times you basically would deal with people that have these animals and either refuse to or cannot take care of them.
Now, most of the time it's strays.
Okay.
A lot of times I'd have to trap an animal, and we have the trap. It's just a big cage. You put, you got your bait and the trigger. You set it. It doesn't like grab them or anything. Just locks them in a box.
And they go crazy.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're trying to catch a cat and you catch a raccoon. Caught a red fox one time. They're a lot meaner than they look.
All I can think of is red fox. I'm sorry.
Dummy.
You big dummy.
Possums. I did get a call to a snake. And so I'm going to say her name because she used to work here, Miss McDaniel. You remember her?
Mm-hmm.
She called, said she had a snake in her house. All right, just send me because I'd caught snakes before, like chicken snakes, and I'd never actually handled them. But catch them and release them, just a chicken snake. So I thought, okay, she just got a chicken snake. Guess that's what she thought it was. And it was in her house behind the washing machine.
It's a 12-foot boa constrictor.
Yeah. Now I looked behind the washing machine. Okay, that's a copperhead.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
No.
And I was like,
There's nothing I can do. Bye.
I said, you got a shovel?
I need to kill this
I had to
thing.
borrow a shovel, and yeah, I killed it.
That's what I was going to ask about snakes. Now, the alligator. Just one time for an alligator?
Oh, yeah.
And then most of the time when people are calling you for snakes, is it just is it when they've seen one in their house?
Right.
Is that when you get a call for snakes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that just happened that one time?
No,
For snakes?
A few times, actually.
Okay.
One time it was over in town, and I got there, and it got under the porch, and they said it was a rattlesnake. I was like, there's nothing I can do. I'm not going under there after it. That's like I got to one lady's house to catch a stray dog, and I was going to put the trap out, and she's like, well, on TV, they go out and catch them. I was like,
Lady, this ain't TV.
I was like, number one, it's got twice as many running legs as I do. That's just not fair. I said, number two, if I get out there running after this snake in this heat, you're going to have to call an ambulance. So, no, put down the
Did
trap
you say
and go
those
home.
actual words?
Yeah.
That makes that story even better.
So no, she was a nice lady.
Yeah.
We were able to catch the dog. So
On TV.
So like, could you have like created like a mothball bomb to flush out that rattlesnake? Like,
I couldn't. I mean, someone else could.
you know, mothball, flush it out. Flush
There
it
was
out.
there was another deputy that he would. A lot of times, if I had a snake problem, he would help me out. What was his name? Zach. Because he was real knowledgeable about snakes and
Reptiles and
yeah.
such. Shout out to you, Zach, if you're listening.
yeah, Hollingsworth.
Zach Hollingsworth. Wow, I feel like I
Good
should
dude.
know that
I think
name.
he's retired now,
Okay.
but he helped me out a lot.
Shout out to you, Zach, for all of your assistance with animal control.
Got a call or two about emus.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Like the ostrich like bird.
Apparently, St. Clair County has an emu problem.
Yeah, I saw one run down the road one morning on my way to work.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I passed it. It was going one way, I was going the other.
Hey, when I was in high school,
What am I going to do about it?
It's going down one way, it's going the other. Hey, there's an emu.
hey, when I was in high school, my brother and I were going somewhere to wash some trucks for a guy, and we're in a Plymouth Champ. You ever seen one of those? And we're on Highway 31 on the bridge over the interstate. And there's an emu in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's about where I seen mine at.
It might be the same one.
But Bill the emu.
Well, we get up and it's like, well, I'm gonna roll down the window and yell at it. It started coming at me. And it was that weird run where its head is locked onto me, but its body's moving around the car.
Like a tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I just rolled the window up. We took off. That was,
Those things pretty mean, I think, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say St. Clair County has an emu problem, can you elaborate?
Well, did you hear our stories?
We have
Why am I having to pay so much for emu if we got emu oil? If I got plenty, there's plenty of them around the county.
Yeah.
You should have like stopped that morning. You saw me.
Should've
Hey,
stopped
you got any oil on you?
You should have drained it.
Where's the
that
plug
emu.
at?
Milk that emu, baby.
But no, we got more than one call for emus, so
Where are they? Is there an emu farm somewhere?
I think so.
Yeah, people
Okay.
keep them on farms. I know a couple local that's got some emus on it. Just, I guess, just to say we got emus. I don't know.
So what do you do about it? You had to go catch it. It should be pretty easy to get a thing around its neck.
No, I ain't
Well, it's gonna have
try
its
to
head
catch
in the
that.
sand somewhere.
No, Josh
Is
told
that
me
an
a story
ostrich?
one
It's an
time.
ostrich.
He tried to catch one. He like grabbed the legs and it started kicking. And
Yeah.
each kick was hitting him in the stomach. And he had to let it go.
Yeah, you got to form tackle those things.
I feel like there's an A&E reality TV show waiting to be made with animal control.
I don't know why there's not.
Like, I mean, seriously.
They used to have one. It's called Billy the Exterminator
Turtle Man?
and Turtle Band.
Turtle Man, you remember him?
Yeah.
He was relevant for 2
I mean,
seconds.
it was. I mean, overall, I had a blast doing animal control. I mean, it was.
What was your like average day like? Show up to work.
Yeah.
What time?
Well, I'd wake up in the morning.
It was all call out, right? So like,
So wake up, go on the scanner at 8:00. AC2 is 1041. I got to learn 10 code. That was cool.
10-100, 10-200.
No.
Oh.
Only up to 99. But that's let them know I was on duty, and they'd be like, "Hey, we got send some calls to you." They'd send calls to our cell phone, or send text, and then, write down the name, number, where they're at, call them, find out what they needed. Maybe I'd go out and probably 3 or 4 calls a day. Just go out, get some animals. I'd try to take a trip before lunch to the shelter, drop off everything. Then I'd go eat lunch, and then do the same that afternoon.
So you'd get an hour lunch?
Yeah.
Now, this is gonna sound weird, but I love lunch. Specifically because I don't get to go out for lunch a lot.
Where's
And-
this going?
Well, I just like talking to people that get to go out for lunch at their job.
I get to go out for lunch at my job, and you never talked to me about it.
No, I'd go home and eat a bologna sandwich.
Okay.
That's because
But
I
like,
mean,
no.
like I said, you handle animals.
Yeah.
And animals are kind of nasty.
You didn't want to go out in public, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Unless maybe he'd had a quiet morning.
Yeah. If I'd had a quiet morning, maybe.
Were there any days where you had 0 calls, or maybe like just one easy call?
There were a few easy calls. I mean, there were some days that there wasn't a whole lot going on.
Or were those rare, I guess?
Very.
Well, where do you hang out at on those days when there's not much going on? Can you just stay at home, wait on call, or what do you do?
I usually just get out and ride around. I mean, we just
So you can't be at home waiting on a call. You got to be out.
Right. Yeah, I just want to be on the road. So if I
You
get
got to be
called,
on patrol, huh?
pretty much.
On the lookout.
Yeah. And I didn't have a GPS either.
Oh wow.
We had a book of maps.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Hey, I got to where I knew the county very well.
That's what I was going to say. You know, most people, like your position and deputies, people work for the county road department, they know every
Right.
gosh.
All the
yeah,
back roads.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
the county.
I
Loop
get
Road
anywhere
1 or
with
Loop
it.
Road 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's 3 of them.
There are 3.
Really? I didn't know there was
Yeah,
three.
there's 3.
But yeah, I got to know the county very well. Met a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there were some that you know, some good ones you didn't want to deal with, but for the most part, you know, everybody was really cool to work with. Worked with the police department a lot.
What was the best part of the
Gang
job?
Probably that. Just working with all the people. I liked all the people at the shelter.
Yeah.
Everybody's really nice. Josh, the guy that trained me, got to be real good friends with him. He was awesome. He made it a blast.
Yeah. That's really cool, getting to go to work every day and just having
Right.
fun.
And in some of the animals, like some of them, it's like, man, I want to take this one home.
Yeah.
Like I picked up a husky one time. It was pure white, blue eyes. It would howl like a wolf. I was like, man, I want to take this one home.
Yeah.
But
Was that like against? Could you not ever do that,
I mean, I could adopt it.
or you'd have to go through the shelter?
Yeah, I
and
have
do
to go
it?
through the shelter.
You couldn't just like, hey, I'm taking this one home, guys.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Well, he
Yeah.
escaped in my backyard.
Oh.
What husky?
I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
no, I couldn't, like, you know, and after doing that, I was like, man, I'm really not set up to take care of an animal like it should be.
Yeah. Because you got to see basically every way you shouldn't take care of an animal, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, after that, what'd you do?
After what?
After animal control.
I went straight to my job now.
So you went straight into telecommunicate. So what was that transition like?
So, Mr. Hamilton, I see here you've been a dog catcher for the past 4 years.
Well, yeah, and the guy that hired me drove a bread truck before he did that.
That makes that story
It
even
does.
better.
But no, like, you know, I told you it was casual time. Like my first year, you know, I trained for like 3 months. And then the first time I had to go out by myself, went to someone's house that Josh told me that,
You don't want to go here.
yeah. So
Here, go here.
they may or may not have papers on them. And I walk in the house, like that person, I'm not even going to say anything else about them, said, the cat's in here. So, like an idiot, I walk in the house, I hear the door close and lock behind me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, well, I'm dead. That's it. But it was just their kids. But that was,
Is this how our heroes
Is
demise
this how
comes
I
to be?
end?
so remember, I'm already a little on edge because it was my first day
Yeah.
solo. But after that, it was nothing to it. But the first year was normal. Second year is when the tornadoes came in 2011. And so I worked basically the entire summer at the donation center in Asheville. And that was great, actually. Working with people, meeting a lot of people. Then
And your
after
brother.
that,
And your brother.
every now and then. After that, like,
Yeah, your brother came. He would come in and check on us.
yeah.
He helped us out.
But then after that, like, it was kind of scarce. Like, I think the last full year I worked maybe 12 days the whole year.
So you
That was
never,
casual time.
you never were full time or even part time. You were
Right.
just all 4 years.
It was,
you were
it was
casual.
money. It wasn't anything else. It was just money and something to do.
If it had, you know, moved to full time, I would have probably stuck with it.
Really?
Because, I mean, you know, as for all the, you know, crazy stories and stuff like that, like I said, I really did enjoy it. But then this other opportunity came up, and I actually got to do something with my diploma. So,
That's nice.
or my college degree, I guess I should say.
So you enjoy what you do now.
Oh, yeah.
What skills that you learned while being in animal control that you currently use now in your position as an engineer for a telecommunications subcontractor?
Oh, absolutely none.
Nothing transferred.
No, not really.
Maybe communications with people. I mean, if you want to get down to it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do that before.
So when you went to work with the bread truck guy,
Yeah.
you didn't have to go back to school
Mm.
and get any
No.
more education. You went
They
into that
trained you.
telecommunication.
They were actually preferred people who didn't do that because
Yeah.
they could
Train them the
you.
way they want
Yeah.
you.
instead of having to break someone from their previous experience. You know, I was fresh to it. Like when I started, I think there were almost a dozen other people that started with me, and I was the only one that stuck with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And how long have you been with the company? Well, a different company, right?
No, same one.
Okay.
8 years.
Okay. Wow.
Now, if you got on animal control full time, would your retirement be the same as what police is and deputies? Don't they get don't they get a year for every 5 they work? Don't they get a
it's
year?
like a level above ours
Yeah.
with the state.
They can work 20. They can pretty much
Yeah.
work 20 and retire, right? Would you have been on that same retirement?
I guess so.
I think so.
I don't know. It's a good question. Like I said, I don't really plan ahead a lot, so I didn't.
Well, you work 20 but you get credit for 25.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Firemen, policemen,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like a step above ours. Well, it's a step above yours. It's 2 steps above mine, basically. If you're tier 1, I'm tier 2. They're tier 0.
Tier S.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, it was. I mean, it was not your usual job, I guess. I mean,
Well, that's what's so fascinating about it. I mean, you always hear about it or see it on TV. You know, my immediate thought is that one Christmas show. What is it? The Year Without a Santa Claus
Yeah.
and Lady and the Tramp. Those are my two. You know, in my mind, when somebody says animal control, those are the two. Those are the stereotypes.
Tom and
that
Jerry,
are not
all day and
going
every day.
on. You know, so I don't know. I feel like I'm sure you have a lot more stories that you can't tell.
Oh, yeah.
How many more stories do you have that you
Exactly.
can't
That's
tell?
what I was going to ask.
I mean, most
Dozens.
of them are basically the same thing. You know, some dogs that have to crawl under a house to get. Some of them are hard to, you know, they'd put up a fight.
So, if you had to crawl under the house, were you done for the day? You're like, I'm going home. I'm getting a shower. And I'm
No,
done.
I was younger and a little smaller then, so I was all right. I mean, it was just part of it.
Well, no, I talked to a guy that worked with Comcast, and like when he would go and do a new install, he had to go in her house and stuff. He's like, "This is it. It might only take me 3 hours to do it, but I'm done for the day. I'm not doing anything else."
Really?
He's like, I'm already dirty. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm going to take a shower and go home.
No, I'd have some where I had to pick up like big dogs.
Yeah.
And like a Great Pyrenees. Those are huge.
Yeah.
Hey, what about the fox? What did you trap the fox with?
Just a normal trap, like for a cat. I mean, it just went in after the cat food, door shut behind it. And I'd take it out to a rural area and let it go.
What does a fox say?
A lot of growls and snarling.
Okay, well there we go. We found our answer.
I had one dog one time. Like I drove up, got out, opened up the dog box. It ran up, jumped up in my arms. I just caught it, put it in the dog.
What
Hey,
jumped
that was
up?
easy.
It was
dog?
a hound dog.
Oh, well, I was 10-100 doing 10-100 in the yard the other night. About dark, and a fox running right by me.
Really?
Didn't know I was out there. I guess it just
Hey, they're all over.
Yeah.
Red, gray.
red.
Yeah.
I see a lot of red now.
I see a lot of red. I've seen some gray though, and I
Used to
thought
not
they
see
were
a lot of red.
cats.
Yeah. Used to not see a lot of red, but I have lately. I know where there's some staying at.
Yeah, where are the French when you need them, man? They'd have it. They'd have that problem taken care of in a heartbeat. You'd see a bunch of women in Paris walking around with red fur coats or something.
What is this, 1792?
Absolutely.
Is that all they would hunt fox just before they wouldn't eat them?
I don't think so. I think they just
think
wanted the
it's just
fur.
skin. Yeah, I think it's
I think they were
just
just. It was pure fur trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they linked up with the Native Americans so well, is because there was so much demand in France for fur in Western Europe.
All right. Y'all's history degrees are showing. We're good.
Well, I mean, you got 3 history guys here.
Yeah.
75% of the people in this room.
Yeah. You're in the minority.
I am in the minority.
So there you
I'm
go.
social science composite.
I am too, technically. But is that what they called it back then? Social science composite? Now they call it general social science education.
I don't know. I don't know what to call it now.
I just told you what
Well, the moral of the story today, boys and girls, is if you're going to get a history major, have a plan.
have a plan.
You talked about lunch a while ago. Lunch is a big deal. I mean, it is for us.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, they can go out to lunch
Yeah.
probably, but like if I'm off a day from work and I go eat lunch somewhere, it's just like, man, I just had no idea this was going on
Right.
out here.
Yeah, exactly.
When
Like,
there's people going out and doing stuff and
for like
going to lunch.
for an hour.
Yeah.
And if you don't go to lunch and sit down with like your friends or your coworkers, you can like go run an errand, go get your prescription,
Yep.
go,
I usually leave work for that and still go to lunch.
It's insane.
No
You know?
comment.
No comment.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're out. There's stuff going on out there.
Yeah. Like
Well,
there's
it's
life
crazy how
outside
the
of this.
professions are like that. We're like, y'all don't get to see that side of it.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever held another job besides teaching? I mean, like another
No, not
paying
Full-time
job with
professional.
benefits? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So like, and you haven't either. So like, y'all have no idea what like the real world's
What
like.
what an actual 9 to 5 is.
Right.
We're used to the 7 to 3.
Right.
Well, really.
Or
I mean,
6 to 4.
yeah. Well,
Well.
6 to. Well, when we both started, well, me still now. You when you
7.
started 6 to 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's always been one of those things that I think so many people take for granted that I wish I could experience on a daily basis. And I feel like that's why my eating habits are the way they are, is because I feel so, not to make a pun here, but so starved of that
Right.
experience.
Right.
That's why I enjoy eating out so much, especially during the day at lunch and just like being with, like y'all, like having lunch with y'all today. That was great. No
Yeah.
offense. That was great. You know, I wish you could have been there.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Wish you could have been there.
But see, you see it in this side of my side of industry too, because you know we've got guys that work where I work that's the only place they've ever worked.
Yeah.
You know, and if they think that it's so good now, then and all of a sudden it's so bad now, well, they don't know what Joe Blow's going through
Yeah.
at another plant or whatever. You know, because we get that all the time about, oh, well, they're taking this benefit, they're taking that benefit, we don't get this anymore. It's like, well, the benefits you've just now lost were lost 15 years ago. You just don't know that.
Yeah.
So anyway, not to go off on a tangent.
Recommendations? Recommendations, anybody?
I'll go to our guest first.
Oh man, I had one
You did.
and I forgot it.
You did.
So you go ahead.
Oh.
Come back to me. While I try to remember it.
Recommendations.
Was it eggnog?
It was eggnog. All right, I'll go first. Southern Comfort eggnog.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Because we talked about it prior to you being here.
Before I got in here.
We discussed it beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Because that was actually
Southern Comfort specifically.
Yeah.
Why Southern Comfort?
It's very good. And it's the only kind I can find at Walmart.
Okay.
They make a spiced vanilla flavor. It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever had Barber's?
I have, but
Not a sponsor?
I don't know it's even around.
Yeah, I don't know if
see it.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a couple of years now. I don't know
I
if
saw
the
it last
pandemic.
year. I didn't see it this year, but
I
I
didn't see it this year.
I got
at all.
some last year. You know, it comes in the green carton with
Right.
the red bow, whatever. I got some last year, but I hadn't seen any this year.
Well, I know there was something going on with the eggs and everything not too long ago.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's been nice knowing you.
Yeah.
You know, the big white woman will buy multiple cartons at a time and
Mhm.
put them in her freezer.
Oh, really? It freezes?
Yeah,
How about that?
and she'll save it until like the next year.
Yeah, I like eggnog. That Barber's, it was good. That's about the only kind I've ever had. The best though is the homemade. I know my sister makes a homemade eggnog. It is.
I want to try
really,
it. I want to try it one
Yeah, I've
time.
never had it.
Oh,
I've
man.
heard homemade is
Yeah,
hands over fist better.
yeah, it's great. But I didn't get any of that this year. I might get some Saturday. She might have some
You have any moose mugs?
Saturday. Yeah, I'm going to drink it out of those moose
Meese.
mugs. But it's non-alcoholic.
Drive you in the middle of nowhere, leave you for dead?
Non-alcoholic. It's my homemade non-alcoholic. Just
Yeah, the
regular
so
eggnog. It is
Hammy and I,
great.
we used to always get together for 10 years or so. We'd all get together and we would watch Christmas Vacation with all of our buddies. Well, the question always came up: why is the eggnog so runny looking?
Soupy?
Yeah, I mean, it's sitting out, so it's room temperature. But B, it's like very soupy. Like, are we to assume that it already had alcohol in it, or what? I don't know.
Eddie definitely acts like there's alcohol in it.
I would say when Cousin Eddie showed up, there was a lot
Yeah.
of extra added to it.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. And Clark's just going along with it. Just
He had a lot of help from Jack Daniels.
yeah. Well, he needed the help to deal with Eddie.
Fix the newel post.
I haven't watched that movie this year.
Have you not?
I haven't watched any Christmas movie.
That
this
was
year.
the one Christmas movie I knew I had to
Yeah,
watch.
we watched it Christmas Eve actually.
That are the first two Home Alones.
I didn't see Home Alone this year. I didn't
didn't
watch
either.
any of the Rankin Bass. The Rankin Bass cartoons, you know, the Year Without a Santa
Oh,
Claus
yeah,
and
yeah.
Rudolph the Red Nose.
The
I didn't watch any of
claymation.
those.
Smoke Man.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of those. I
I
usually
haven't
do.
watched those since I was a kid.
I didn't finish Polar Express like I usually do.
Never seen it.
You know, the story is really good, but every year the animation gets worse and worse. Every year the animation gets worse.
What about It's a Wonderful Life?
That's never been. I've only seen that movie once in my entire life.
I assume that as I get older, that's going to be one of those movies that's going to mean more to me as I get older.
I got a really cool story about that movie. Can I take a deep dive?
It's your podcast. Go for it.
It's our podcast. So, and you might appreciate this, or you might actually know this, but
I probably do.
Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart. He just made himself laugh. He's over here going. Jimmy Stewart made a name for himself in the late 30s, early 40s, and kind of sort of like showed up on the scene in Hollywood, right? Well, then World War II, obviously. Japan attacks Pearl Harbor. We go into World War II. Well, he leaves his career in Hollywood and enlists into the Army Air Corps and becomes an officer and wants to be a pilot and actually becomes a pilot. Well, the military's like, oh, we have this huge movie star on our hands. We're going to use him for propaganda. And so they just put him on these tours. And he's like, no, I want you to put me into combat. I want to fly combat missions in Europe. And so they station him in England, and he starts flying bombing sorties over Germany, over the Wehrmacht positions in continental. That is a loud. That is loud. That is a loud vibration.
It's a very loud vibrator.
Dwayne, if you ever watch this podcast, I'll call you back.
You should have answered and put him on it.
Yeah,
you would have had to give him fair warning though.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a little rough.
Nah, he's all right.
He ain't as rough as you think.
Hi, John.
He's gonna hear this.
I know.
We love you. So apparently though, like right there before the end of the war, it got so bad that when the Luftwaffe was getting desperate, that they started shooting down a bunch of escort planes and and other bombers that they would fly within their squadron. And apparently he went through so much trauma and lost like 20 or 30 guys that he flew with and knew in his unit, in his squadron, that by the time the war ended and he got back home, he had what we now know as PTSD. And he was so broken down, he didn't know if he could act ever again. Like, he didn't know what he was going to do for the rest of his life. Well, what was his first film after that?
Wonderful Life.
It was A Wonderful Life. And so all of that emotion and all that crying that you see
was real.
Was
real
him reacting and like dealing with all the deaths of those guys, all of his buddies that he lost in Europe flying those missions.
Wow.
So when you see him break down in that movie, that's not because he is a great actor, don't get me wrong, but all of that emotion is coming from, and Jimmy is the one that said all this. All that's coming from
that trauma. Him
not having dealt with all that up until that point.
Wow.
And then, that movie then sort of reignited his career in Hollywood, and he would go on to have a great career. But apparently, all the cast and crew that were there when that scene was filmed where he breaks down were like so shocked and apparently everybody was really emotional on set when all that happened because they knew why he was really breaking down. And so, yeah.
So that was therapy, that film?
Basically,
therapy, and it helped him a whole lot, and he was better.
Because isn't that guy, I don't think I've ever seen it, but isn't the premise of the movie about the guy that doesn't want to be around anymore?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He wants to commit suicide, basically. And that was him cathartically dealing with those thoughts that he had about himself. Right. It's like, all these guys didn't make it. Why should I be here?
Sure.
And so it was almost the perfect role for him because he knew exactly what his character was going through.
Wow.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
now I really want to
painful.
watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as I get older, it'll probably mean more to me to watch it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I watched it one time, I think.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
The only reason I know that term is from
Christmas Vacation. Yeah, me too.
Teacher says,
I lasso the moon. Or what does he say? I'll grab the moon. Or something like that. Isn't that a line?
I don't know.
Grab the moon for you.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow.
Voice.
He does. Is it Mr. Smith Goes to Washington?
Yeah.
Is that it? I love that movie. Why?
Oh, is
the
that
vibrators going off?
Is that D. Wayne again?
Yeah, that's him again.
He worked for the county. Did he work for the county?
He
still does.
Okay.
Recommend or who?
I'll go.
Okay.
My recommendation, my recommendation is go to the dentist. Okay, because I had to go this morning. But my other little tidbit of information I want to share, if you have ever had a filling in your tooth, they will go bad because I had to have a tooth refilled.
Yeah, I've had to have that.
Yeah, that's terrible. I did not know that. It doesn't matter how much you brush or whatever. I guess just the saliva just eats that away, and you have to have them refilled.
Yeah, like saliva's really acidic.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Well, I guess
did.
acidic's not the word, but like
it breaks down the food.
If you take like a 5-gallon bucket of saliva and put like body parts in it, it'll dissolve all of it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because your saliva has enzymes in it.
And like usually,
part of the digestive system.
It is.
It's insane.
Hold on, you being rhetorical right now?
No, I'm being serious. Like that's it. I didn't know that. I learned that a couple years ago. I was like, no way.
I'm going to the dentist on January 3rd.
I went for my cleaning, my 6-month cleaning. I go religiously every 6 months. And this past time, we need to do something with this filling. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, is it new? No, it's an old filling. We got to do this.
I haven't been to my 6-month checkup in 12 months. I gotta go. Yeah.
Well, that's good that they could refill it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they had
to.
Canal or anything.
Well, it is, but you and
Crown, all that.
A little insight into Clint. Used to, things didn't bother me. I'm learning that things are starting to bother me now as I'm getting older. So, like the other day, I'm driving to work. I have to go early because we've got something going on that we got to get done. And I'd been stopped up. So, hold my nose and blow, pop my ears. Well, this one, I yawned, and this one come back to regular, and this one right here was, like, still stopped up. And I spent the next 45 minutes, like, I pulled over on the side of the road and, like, started hitting myself in the ear because it was bothering me that bad. And then I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's, like, the thought of, hey, it might not ever pop.
Got a little scared.
And this will be it. Yeah, and I got scared. Like, it was, like, claustrophobic in a way.
Yeah.
And then that, not to the same extent, but to a certain extent, that kind of happened today in the dentist office too, because usually when you get your, a filling done or something, it's, open up wide and done, and it's done. Well, this time he, put this like rubber thing over my mouth and did all that. And like, I'm just like, it was weird. Like, I was like, man.
Yeah. So I have, one of my biggest fears is getting my wisdom teeth taken out.
I've still got mine.
I still have all 4 of mine.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, look, as long as I ain't get any problems, I'm good with them.
Yeah. Well, apparently that's how most other countries are. It's only in the United States where we make it a big deal to do it before they ever, like, grow or come in. I guess because there's so many people that give them problems, they're just like, by default, we're just going to take them out.
Yeah.
But apparently, like in Europe, in the UK, they don't take them out until they hurt you.
Right.
If they don't hurt you, they just leave them in.
Yeah, because usually what happens is they grow and put pressure on the other teeth. Robin Bolin, his middle son, 13's got to have them taken out because they're causing issues pushing.
Already? So usually it's like anywhere between the ages of 16 to 20.
Right.
That's, oh, God. Ugh.
Yeah, I've got like all 32 teeth. It's amazing.
Yeah. My recommendation, it's a band, Australian band. They are no longer relevant, but they were in the 2000s.
ABBA.
Empire of the Sun. A.K.A. 2 songs that I want to recommend to you. Walking on a Dream, which I think is their #1 hit, and Alive. They have a remix was done by Waka Flocka with Walking on a Dream. It's called The Thrill, I think. And it's by Waka Flocka and Empire of the Sun. Phenomenal rap remix. Highly recommend. I also obviously just the original Empire of the Sun, Walking on a Dream, and Alive. Both of those songs, great songs. I think it came off their first or second album. They're real out there. It's like take Daft Punk, but make them make Daft Punk want way more attention than they could ever get instead of want their privacy.
How'd you find that?
Oh, I've been listening to that band for years.
Oh, really?
Since probably I was in middle school.
And they're from Australia, huh?
They're Australian. They're Empire of the Sun. So it's a reference to Australia.
Okay, I never heard of them.
AC/DC was from Australia.
That's something I never knew.
Really?
Until like a year ago.
Now, Keith Urban. That's what I was just thinking. Who else is from Australia? I wouldn't know. Urban.
Thor.
AC/DC was.
Thor's from there.
Where's Air Supply? Where are they from? I was just thinking about them.
Jefferson Starship.
You remember Air
Jefferson
Supply?
Airplane.
God, same thing.
Yeah, it's all the same thing. I thought ABBA was from Australia.
Sweden.
They are from Sweden. That's what
They're Scandinavian, yeah. Recommendation.
Gone South podcast. I just
That's
finished
great. Yeah.
I just finished it up yesterday. I listened to season 2 first, and it was really good. So I just finished up season 1. It's C13 originals, Jed and Tom Lipinski about unsolved murders. Pretty good. Most of them in the Mississippi, Louisiana area.
You know, I'm gonna make another recommendation that recommendation triggered this recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna touch my whelp
Yeah.
on my neck? It hurts.
Well,
Ooh, a trigger.
Oh, please don't touch. Please don't touch
Come
myself.
on, I'm in suspense. What is it?
You know, I don't know.
Don't be dilatory in doing this. Go ahead and tell us.
Oh, you just wanted to use that word.
dilatory.
So, Deep South on the SEC network.
He just recommended it.
No, he said Gone South, which is a podcast. You weren't even listening. Now who doesn't listen?
Gone. Okay, Deep South.
Deep South on the SEC network, where they go.
That's the
and-
food one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I
It is
love
good.
that show.
Yeah.
And when it first came out, I didn't pay any attention to it because I knew it was just like filler entertainment.
Right.
But those guys that do that show do a really
they
good
do.
job.
Job.
Job. They do a really good job
Yeah.
on the SEC network, and it's their latest seasons come out. Let's see.
I watched a good many of those.
Is it Deep South? It's Deep
Yeah.
South or True South.
True South.
True South.
It's True South.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Guys
Uh,
from
Deep
Old-
South is where we live.
Yeah.
He's from Oxford. One of the guys.
Yes.
Does it? I know.
The main guy that does the
Mississippi, Oxford,
narration.
Mississippi. Yeah.
John T. Edge is the main guy.
It's
that
very.
does it.
You learn a lot of history.
And it's just like it's like if
Even though
you
it's on
want to
a-
know about the South, watch that show because it goes into all the different subcultures of the
Right.
South by going to all these different.
And that's the thing
college
because
towns.
it's on a sports network.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is filler for a sports network, but there's a lot of backstory and
Like if you're a fan, like I know all of us here like living in the South, and
America.
we don't know all about the South. These other parts, we know about our part of the South where we live in Alabama. Kind of like we're on like the borderland between Appalachia and the Deep South, so we know that part of Southern culture really well. But like I don't know as much as I'd like to know about Cajun culture in Louisiana or the Panhandle.
well,
swamp
they're
culture of
bloody
Florida,
French, so I'm good with that.
What?
They're French, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, they're the good kind of French though.
Yeah, are
They
they?
got good food.
They do have good food.
Look, I mean, you take crazy French people and
Two words, Montreal.
and breed them with. You take crazy French people and breed them with some really cool like swamp Native Americans, and you get Cajun people. And I love Cajun people. They're freaking awesome. They're always a good time. They're really they're like
Go Tigers.
worldly smart. You know what I mean? They're not like books. I'm not gonna say they're not book smart, but they
common
know
sense.
a lot about. Yeah, they know a lot about like the world, the natural world, and they're just so wise.
Yeah,
and they cook really good.
I have seen a lot of Cajuns wax philosophical before.
Yeah, I mean they. But what?
So wax philosophical.
Why'd you phrase it that way?
Everyone else is using fancy terms.
He still won't be left out.
Yeah, he's dilatory over here. What word you use?
Montreal.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to go to those places to eat. All those places on that show. I want to
Yeah.
go there. I want to go to all of them.
Like that Fox's Pizza in like Missouri or wherever. That
Well, they got
serves
one
steak.
of those down in Moody.
But no, this one serves steak.
Steak.
Did you see that episode?
Uh-uh.
It's owned by an Asian guy in Missouri that cooks pizza. It's a pizza franchise that cooks steak, and apparently it's the best steak in town.
There was some place down in Mobile where the owner of the place got shot, didn't he?
Yeah,
That one.
yeah, and he convinced some other guy not to shoot him. Like, well, it was Pritchard, technically.
Yeah.
So north of Mobile, Pritchard. Yeah.
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
That one.
Completely off topic. You mentioned Asian, so it reminded me of it.
Yeah.
You ever seen the Asian guy that lives in Texas? Like he looks 100% Asian,
Yeah.
but has like a deep South redneck accent. He's a comedian. He is hilarious.
No, you're talking
You're
about
talking
Henry
about Cho?
Henry Cho.
Yeah.
From Knoxville.
He's from Tennessee.
He's
Oh,
from
never
Knoxville,
mind then.
Tennessee.
I thought he was from
Married a
Texas.
girl from Arab,
Oh, well, there you go.
and he talks about going down to Arab all
So
the time.
apparently, I don't know anything.
That's why we say Johnny Bonley all the time. That
Yeah.
was his joke.
Yeah.
Henry chose because he had a good buddy in Tennessee. His name was JB. That's what his parents named him. Just JB. The J didn't stand for anything. The B didn't stand for anything.
JB.
Like
So
Harry
when he
S.
got
Truman.
when he went to get his driver's license, he told him. He said, "Look, my name is JB. It's just J only, be on it. And that's what they put on his driver's license. You only bowling.
Yeah. You ain't never heard that
I've
story?
never heard that.
That's a classic Henry Cho, man.
Yeah, he's a good one
Hey,
to go see.
weren't we going to go see him?
Yeah, let's
and
go.
we never did.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Let's go, though. I've seen him at the
I
comedy
blame
club
that on
before.
well, he was going to be at the comedy club again, and Marino was like, "Yeah, let's go," and we never went.
Yeah, he's good. I was
Tickets
thinking
were
about
like
going to comedy
$15.
club. Yeah, he was good.
And he's clean too, and he loves talking about his wife's family from Arab.
Yeah, that's right.
And I ain't Arab. He's got a whole joke about it. It ain't Arab. It's Arab. And let me tell you, there ain't nothing Arabic about this town. And he talks about how redneck it is or whatever.
Because they do have a Pharaoh's video up there.
They do.
Or used to.
Well, they used to. Yeah, it's not up. It's closed. But that's all I got.
Or go home.
Yeah, don't forget you can talk.
Or go home.
Yay! By his initials.
I seen a hot dog whip a guy one time about like that thing whipping you, man. Oh, hey, I seen a hot dog